types of grading systems are established for treatment and efficacy of any disease. The first one is grading of evidence, that is presented by symbol A, which means it is a high quality evidence. The second one is symbol B, that is a moderate quality evidence. And the third one is symbol C, that is a low quality evidence. Well, these evidences are based on the clinical studies of the efficacy of any medicine. The second grading system is due to the grading recommendations, and it has symbol 1 that represents a strong recommendation and the symbol 2 that represents a weaker recommendation. Well, the combination of these two grading systems will eventually create levels of the therapies. For example, if we combine symbol A and symbol 1, we'll have a level A1 therapy. That means that it has a stronger recommendation and no further studies are needed. The second one is symbol A and symbol 2 that make level A2, and that required a weaker recommendation but the stronger clinical trials. B and 1 combine to form level B1, and level B1 studies are a weaker recommendation for us. Symbol B and symbol 2 will form level B2 recommendations, and these type of treatments are not usually used. Now you must remember all these levels because our treatment guidelines are based on these levels. The recommendation for management of type 1 hepatorenal syndrome has a drug therapy that involves terlipressin. Terlipressin is used in intravenous bolus of 1 mg per 4 to 6 hours. And it is also used with the combination of albumin. The both are considered first-line therapy against hepatorenal syndrome. The aim of therapy is to improve renal function sufficiently to decrease serum creatinine to less than 133 micromoles per liter. If serum creatinine does not decrease at least 25% after 3 days, the dose of terlipressin is increased to 2 mg per 4 hours. So for patients with partial response, that means a decreased serum creatinine, or in those patients without reduction of serum creatinine, treatment should be discontinued after 15 days. Now you must remember that all of this therapy is a level A1 therapy. Now there must be some contraindications related to the terlipressin therapy. These contraindications include ischemic cardiovascular disease. Patients on terlipressin should be carefully monitored for development of cardiac arrhythmias or the signs of splanchnic or digital ischemia, and also fluid overload, and treatment should be modified or stopped accordingly. Recurrence of type 1 HRS after discontinuation of terlipressin therapy is relatively uncommon. Treatment with terlipressin should be repeated and is frequently successful. Potential alternative therapies to terlipressin include norepinephrine or midodrine plus octreotide, both in association with albumin, but there is extremely limited information with respect to the use of these drugs in patients with type 1 HRS. And this kind of study is known as level B1 study. Non-pharmacological therapy of HRS type 1 include the insertion of tips. Although it may improve the renal function, in some patients there are insufficient data to support the use of tips as a treatment of patients with type 1 HRS. The renal replacement therapy may be useful in patients who do not respond to vasoconstrictor drugs and who fulfill criteria for renal support. There are extremely limited data on artificial liver support system, and further studies are needed before its use in clinical practice and can be recommended. So they are considered as a level B1 kind of studies. The management of type 2 hepatorenal syndrome involves terlipressin with the use of albumin, and it is effective in 60 to 70% patients with type 2 HRS. There are insufficient data on the impact of this treatment on clinical outcomes, so it is also considered as a level B1 treatment. Liver transplantation is the best treatment for both type 1 and type 2 HRS. Hepatorenal syndrome should be treated before liver transplantation since it may improve liver transplant outcomes. And it is considered as a level A1 treatment. Patients with HRS who respond to vasopressor therapy should be treated by the liver transplantation alone. Patients with HRS who do not respond to vasopressor therapy and who require renal support should generally be treated by liver transplantation. Since the majority will achieve a recovery of renal function post liver transplantation. There is a subgroup of patients who require prolonged renal support more than 12 weeks, and in this group that it should be considered for combination of liver and kidney transplant. Now this type of treatment study is known as level B2 study. Now we must look at the prevention approaches as well. Patients who present with spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, known as SBP, should be treated with intravenous albumin, since this has been shown to decrease the incidence of HRS and improve the survival rate. There are some data to suggest that treatment with pentoxifylline decreases the incidence of HRS in patients with severe alcoholic hepatitis and advanced cirrhosis. The treatment with norfloxacin decreases the incidence of HRS in advanced cirrhosis, respectively. Further studies are also needed. So the first one that includes spontaneous bacterial peritonitis is a level A1 study, and the other two studies are known as level B2 studies. So this was all about the management of hepatorenal syndrome. I hope that I have covered the massive aspects of it. Keep watching sqadia.com and learn something new every single day.